Welcome back to episode 2 of Simple Abundance and Tarot. My name's Elizabeth, and I go by Empowered Mystical Harmony on the internet. That's my brand's name. And I have decided to take you all with me on my Simple Abundance journey as I read the daybook. That's the full title, Daybook of Comfort and Joy. And so what I've been doing is reading the passage um, and reflecting on it, and then pulling a tarot card, and then reflecting on the tarot card in the context of the day's reading. So today is Saturday, January 25th, 2025, and that's the day's passage. I try to uh, not spoil myself and see anything about the next day, so I read it fresh and I come into it fresh. Um, so today, January 25th, working with what you've got. And this passage starts with the quote from Rainer Maria Rilke, who I've not read. I just know he's an Austrian poet. He said, "If your everyday life seems poor, don't blame it, blame yourself. Admit to yourself that you're not enough of a poet to call forth its riches, because for the Creator there is no poverty and no poor indifferent place." Up until now, many of us have secretly believed that we had to wait until things calmed down a bit before we started to get our acts together. Tomorrow we'll begin discovering authentic pleasures. Tomorrow we'll treat ourselves better. Tomorrow we'll take the time to enjoy ourselves. Tomorrow, when everything calms down. This I can report from the front lines. Life never calms down long enough for us to wait until tomorrow to start living the lives we deserve. Life is always movement, always change, always unforeseen circumstances. There will always be something trying to grab your attention. The phone call, the child, the fax, the car breaking down, the check that never arrives in the mail. Let's just acknowledge that as far as real life is concerned, we are only one step away from dealing with dysfunction. So what are we going to do about it? We can stop waiting for life to become perfect and start working with what we've got to make it as satisfying as we can. We can accept, bless, give thanks, and get going. Today we can begin to call forth the riches from our everyday life. Today we can move from lack to abundance. Procrastination has robbed us of too many precious opportunities. Call a friend for lunch, begin to read or even write that novel, organize your papers, try a new recipe for dinner, smile at everyone you meet, sit and dream before a blazing fire, pick up your needlepoint again, act as if you're grateful to be alive, scatter joy. Think of one thing that would give you a genuine moment of pleasure today and do it. Great. The first step in the journey, the first steps in the journey are always the most difficult to take. Life begets life. Energy creates energy. The famous French actress Sarah Bernhardt reminds us, it is by spending oneself that we become rich. So, yeah, working with what you've got, meet yourself where you are, bloom where you're planted, uh, start today, do it messy, um, all the things, yes. This is definitely a passage that I need to hear from time to time. And only recently I feel like I have actually gotten good at doing that. I tend to procrastinate on things because I want to do them perfectly. And so it's hard to even start a thing when it's not quite right. Like the plan isn't fully formed, or XYZ condition hasn't been met. Um, so yes, actually the first post I made on social media was I called it the pancake post, and it's about the pancake theory. Um, you have to make your first shitty pancake before you can make all your other amazing pancakes. And that first pancake, like, never turns out quite right, but you have to make that first pancake in order to see what needs to be adjusted so that the rest of your pancakes turn out. Um, and I mean, speaking of first pancakes, yesterday I made my first pancake in. I made my first recording, the YouTube video or podcast episode. Yeah, so that was an experience. But I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I'm recording right now. Just do the thing. So for doing things, the next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna shuffle these tarot cards, and then we're gonna pull a card and reflect on it in the context of today's passage, and just see what comes up for us. You see? Four of Pentacles, right side up. Alright, so the Four of Pentacles, I made a few notes here so that I don't forget what I want to say. But before I go on my little riff, I do want to share the words that the author included in the guidebook. I forgot to do that yesterday, but I do think that's important. So, the Four of Pentacles, the author says stability, control, influence, and security. Those are the four words they give for when this card comes in upright. And this is the Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot deck from Matt Hughes. Okay, so so the number 4 is the number of security. Pentacles are associated with external resources, so material possessions, financial wealth, assets, that kind of stuff. So for me, what's coming up is the couple of things in the context of today's passage, working with what you've got. I think one way to interpret it is that, you know, once you finally do this thing that you've been putting off, you're going to be successful. Um, so, you know, if it's a creative project or a business venture or um, something of that nature, like, once you start working with what you've got, um, once you bring that idea to life, once you once you start, it's gonna be good. um, so that's one thing that's come up for me, and then the other thing is, so the illustration of this card is similar to the Rider-Waite-Smith image, and that is a person clinging to a coin, and like they're standing on the coins, and they've got a coin in their hair, and so this card can also represent, beyond stability and security, maybe greed, possessiveness, hoarding, and so this card could be saying, like, that investment you've been putting off. You this is confirmation that you should make that investment, perhaps, or that maybe this is coming up to say, like, you are in a lack mindset right now, but you know you don't need to be. Like, you know, what what you have is sufficient, and what you have, you can do what you want to do with what you have. Um, so in the context of today's passage, working with what you've got, I think the Four of Pentacles could be saying that thing that you've been putting off. Once you get into it, it's going to be successful, whatever that means. And then another way to look at it, I think, could be if you have been kind of stuck in a lack mindset, or you maybe have been um, sort of dragging your feet on making some sort of investment, that this is confirmation that you can go ahead and make that investment, that everything's going to be okay. Um, so yeah, um, I will say I'm not a financial advisor, and so I am not giving you financial advice in any way. I'm just saying that that's what the card represents, and then so in the context of today's passage, that's what's coming up for me. And so I don't know if that resonates with you or not. And it's always one of those things where it's take what resonates and leave the rest. And so if you didn't get that at all from the Four of Pentacles coming up in today's reading of working with what you got, I would love to hear your interpretation. What came up for you um, after hearing that passage, and then when I pulled that card, I would love it if we could discuss what came up for you, and or if what came up for me resonated with you. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and sign off now, so that I don't start rambling. But before I go, I just want to say thank you for being here. I really appreciate however you're engaging with this. I appreciate it, and like I said, I would love it if we could dialogue about today's reading. I mean the passage from the day book as well as the tarot card. Um, I would love to have a conversation about what came up for you, and if what came up for me resonated with you. Um, yeah. So I guess that's all for today, and I will see you tomorrow.